Hello, and welcome to the ATS Virtual Fair. I'm Peng Sang Ka, VP of ATS Life Sciences for Emerging Markets and Symphony. I am excited to sit down with two esteemed individuals to discuss the future of automation. But before we start it, let me introduce our panelists, Chris Hart and Simon Roberts. Chris is the president of the Life Science Group. Chris has held various progressive positions at ATS for the past 31 years. He is currently the president of the Life Sciences Group, overseeing business units in Germany, Cambridge, Canada, and Chicago, USA. Outside of work, Chris is a physical fitness enthusiast, having completed several marathons, triathlons, and CrossFit competitions, as well as being a 3-time Ironman finisher. Chris enjoys working with his hands and spending time at his cottage in Northern Ontario with his wife and dog throughout the year. Simon Roberts is Senior Vice President after Sales and Services at ATS Automation Tooling System since 2015. Simon has over a 20-year track record working in Europe, North America, and Asia with an operational background and a proven track record of general, commercial, and program management in aerospace, working for both Airbus and Bombardier. Since joining ATS, Simon has been developing and building the after-sales service group within ATS with specific focus on strengthening our customer lifecycle relationships while leveraging our domain knowledge with digital and regional resources. Most recently, Simon joined the ISLA Executive Board, an international network of professionals with focus on customer service, after-sales management, and service logistics in the digital age. Outside of work, Simon enjoys spending time with his wife and 2 boys, traveling or renovating their cottage. Well, welcome to both of you. We'll start the question with Chris. Chris, ATS has been at the forefront of automation since it was founded over 40 years ago. You've been at ATS for that 31 years. What is it about ATS culture that's made the company successful? Have you noticed that this culture changed over the years?
Yeah, thanks, Peng. From a culture perspective, and maybe the historic view is, ATS is made up of highly creative problem solvers, tackling some of the most difficult manufacturing problems over the years. And paired with that is a very strong work ethic, a can-do attitude, and really a never give up on our customers mentality. And that extends to situations where it may be the most attractive financial decision to walk away, but we have never done that, never let our customer down in that regard. Strong relationship building, that's established on a demonstration of trust and partnership and really credibility based on performance. And then finally, just a humble approach of letting our actions speak for themselves, treating our customers well, but also treating our each other well. And I think that builds very strong engagement. So, what's changed? I don't think those core principles have changed. Obviously, the company's much larger now with many new colleagues that wouldn't have been had a direct experience through those early growth years. So, it's really an obligation on the veterans of the company to convey how important those principles remain and how key they are to our success.
Chris, I think most people don't know that you and I actually started on the same day. You were 30 years ahead of me, so I've been at ATS for about a year and a half now. And for someone who's new to the company, everything you've just said about ATS is absolutely true. The culture is just amazing. The people, the engineers, the tradespeople, this can-do attitude, love it. And I think you hit it on the spot. Simon, you joined ATS in 2015. What did you notice about the cultural DNA of the company? And was after sales and service meant to enhance the culture that already exists at ATS, or was it meant to open new opportunities for the company?
Thanks, Peg. I think obviously the first impression, as Chris and yourself just referenced, is that customer kind of centric view of the organization. And when you look beyond that, that's built on a proud heritage. It's built on clear innovation, as Chris said, problem solving, but finding creative solutions, right? And complex problems to address. So I think initial impression was obvious, that proud heritage, that kind of customer-centric thinking. So that's a great foundation for certainly me and the team joining 6 years ago to really build upon that as that foundation. And I think where we focused in terms of advancing the culture and the services journey is really about how do we expand our offering? How do we bring more value to the customers, building on that culture? How do we extend our reach, right? How do we actually get more local to our customers so we can actually build upon that? And more recently, you know, how we leverage the innovation mindset around digital, how digital can play a part. So I think to answer your question, it's both, right? It's build upon what was here and really make sure we protect and preserve the culture as we expand into new pastures and new frontiers.
Absolutely, Simon. I totally agree with you. I mean, you know, the history is make us who we are, but we have to keep looking forward and never sit on our laurel and continue to think ahead and think into the future of where is the industry going and what are we doing about it. And that's the purpose of this discussion today. The next question is really for both of you, Chris and Simon. From your perspective, what are the key trends in the automation today that you're seeing, and how might those trends impact the operation of our clients? The second part of that question is, beyond that, what are the deeper forces, economic, technological, geopolitical, that have produced these trends? Chris, let's start with you.
Sure. Well, a few points that come to mind. I think first and foremost would be the time to market. So we're a want it now society, and that extends everywhere, whether that's buying a car or getting some sort of treatment for an illness. We want a solution now. And so that drives lead times that are much more aggressive than what they've ever been in the past. And I think in concert with those lead times is the constant evolution of the products. No product stays static for a long period of time. It's always evolving. And so flexibility to deliver complex systems that have a lot of variability in them in a short lead time is certainly a trend that's accelerated. In concert with that is some workforce demographics, some aging workforce situations, and also customers are reducing the number of skilled talent that they have on staff. So where they would in the past cover some of the bases that maybe ATS covers now, they're now expecting us to fill those gaps. And that's kind of a common theme across a lot of our customers. So with that reduction in some of the skilled talent, you've also got the effect of the pandemic, and you touched on, you know, economic, technological, geopolitical, but also a pandemic related outcome is home point of care is going to be more prevalent, and people are going to be doing more from home and less time in the factory. So all those things, I think, put a much higher demand on ATS to fill those gaps.
Simon, would you like to add to that?
Sure. I think Chris, you know, touched on a real critical one around the workforce. We have an aging workforce, and it's increasingly difficult to find the right talent, to retain talent and train talent, and that's same for ATS, but it's very much the condition that many of our customers face at the moment. And as Chris mentions, you know, that presents an opportunity and an expectation of our customers that we play a more pivotal role in the aftermarket kind of arena across that life cycle, how we can actively support the customer with some of those workforce issues. I think it's obvious that digitalization plays a key trend and influence in the way we think about manufacturing going forward. That's not just in terms of our internal processes, but we can look to that in terms of the aftermarket. And as Chris mentioned, the pandemic significantly accelerated how we leverage digital tools and how we combine them with our expert knowledge in our divisions and how we support the customers differently. And then we're also seeing reshoring. We're seeing a different global supply chain play out now, and many of our customers and manufacturing in general are really looking to automation to support some of their kind of reshoring, distribution of some of their manufacturing operations. So with that, obviously, that changes the way we think of the footprint and where we focus our resources going forward. And maybe one other trend that we certainly pay a lot of attention and interest to is how some of the business models are evolving now across manufacturing and across the aftermarket in general. So there's certainly some of the trends that we see and we monitor closely.
Thank you. Following along the same idea of with the current trends today, from your perspective, Chris and Simon, how is ATS leading on these trends that are impacting our customers? And is there one in particular in, Chris for the LS group and Simon for your after sales and service group that you are particularly excited for your team to tackle that would help our client be successful in their business? Chris, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so this might be a little bit of a blended answer to both questions, Peng, but I think the one most excited about is really the time to market aspect. And I think ATS is uniquely positioned based on the depth of our talent, the bench strength that we have, the overall size, scale, footprint of the organization globally, the end-to-end portfolio of offerings, the ability to build that one-off, first off custom system, but then replicate that in a low-cost model multiple times. That end-to-end portfolio of offerings that starts with the pre-automation work that can happen prior to an automation project even being defined, right through to Simon's organization and services that satisfy the needs of the customer through end of life of the asset. So that getting customers to market quickly, ramping them up quickly and sustaining it, that's a recipe for them to outpace their competitors, and that's what drives our success.
And before we jump to Simon, a question, Chris, do you feel that part of tackling that trend is the heavy investment that you've made or ATS has made in the innovation center and some of the technologies that are coming out of that innovation center?
Yeah, no, it's a good point, Peng. I maybe forgot that. And yeah, innovation doesn't always mean new products. Innovation can be process evolution and new ways of how we do our daily work can be innovation, and all those things, products and process all drive speed and performance in the market.
Simon, what about from your perspective? What are the trends that you brought up, and what are some of the trends that your team is tackling that you are very excited about?
Yeah, I think building on what Chris said, that critical factor around the lead time to market and really solving the customer's problems in the shortest possible time. I think the natural extension of that is our life cycle view of that partnership with the customer. What excites me is the opportunity with digitalization, with the investment that we're making now in regional resources, is really how we bring that together to know, understand, measure, and delight the customer, right? And we're seeing already where we can collaborate with the customer, where we can use data to provide those insights that give us the opportunity to execute timely actions. we can exceed their expectations. So for me, the combination of our heritage, our expert knowledge, our investments in innovation, and in particular digital, and our footprint that we now expand is just allowing us to understand, arguably, it's now starting to allow us to anticipate the challenges that our customers are facing and really take that life cycle perspective around how we ensure that customers' initial investment on CapEx is something that, you know, is in safe hands and in good stewardship with ATS.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think the circle there is the fact that Chris and both of you brought up, Simon, is that ATS not only produce the equipment, but we think about what are some of the data that is so critical, this whole industrial 4.0 that the whole industry is talking about, and how do we bring those data that is so critical to our clients' operations to ensure that they're very successful, and to have two great leaders like you thinking end to end for our customer and ensure that we work with them in partnership to be successful. I think it's a really exciting time for us and for our clients. Again, staying on trend, Chris and Simon, we live in a world where technology adoption is advancing rapidly, and it's also a world of unpredictable social and political change. Therefore, is it getting easier or more difficult to identify new trend in a field like automation? And how does ATS stay ahead of the curve? Chris?
I think parking the pandemic for a moment, because that's an event where I think we all had to navigate some very new and uncertain terrain. I think it's easier to identify trends than it has been in the past, and the connectivity we have, not only as a society, but with our customers in particular, it's more real time than ever before. So the digital age makes information readily acceptable, and you know, I think the trick that we're working through right now is developing the insights and the actions from that data. And then, you know, you asked me the last question, Peng, about innovation, kind of had it primed up here, but you know, innovations, it's a key aspect to maintain a leadership position, and that's appropriate in any field. Our commitment in this area, it just focuses awareness of the trends and what automation customers' needs are, perhaps before they even need it or even know it themselves. Maybe more importantly, though, it supports the development of exciting new value-added products and processes to meet those needs. And our people are highly creative, and so providing an avenue for them to unleash that creativity is beneficial for everyone, for the customer, for the employee, and for the shareholder alike.
Absolutely, Chris. And I think that's having come from a small automation company and be able to join a global organization like ATS. And I see this innovation center where I'm sitting, this beautiful area, and all these brilliant technologies that are being developed by our team. To your point, even, you know, we're thinking ahead in terms of what our customer needs are. And I think that's one of the things that we as an organization that has a major advantage in some of our smaller competitors, because they just don't have the resources to be able to, you know, think ahead down the road and anticipate what are some of the trends that's going to affect our customers. Simon, I'm going to turn that question to you and hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I think consistent in one of the themes here in terms of our culture and our values, right? I think it's around listening to the customers. You know, many of them face their own market conditions, and as you mentioned before, currently at the moment, it's a very, very volatile, uncertain environment. So I think staying close to our customers, active listening in terms of where they're heading, the challenges that they face, and what really are the critical kind of success factors as they view it. I think number one, we've got to maintain and strengthen that approach in terms of how we listen to our customers. Secondly, I think as well, our collaboration with our suppliers and partners is another critical success factor. And I think as we look at the trends and we look at some of the short-term uncertainty, how we continue to partner, how we continue to gain those insights from our suppliers and partners, I think also only strengthens our position to navigate some of those challenges. And lastly, but probably more importantly, you know, we're a growing organization, significant talent across the entire globe. So how we actively listen to our employees, how we actively create forums for them to share their perspectives of what they're seeing, what they're hearing, whether direct from our customers or from other sources, I think is just an incredible source of market intelligence and an opportunity to succeed. And that's certainly served us well so far. And it's something I think with ABM, we can continue to leverage going forward.
Chris, Simon, I love what you guys said, because it's almost like, I know this is a casual conversation, but almost like you two prep before this, because Chris, you're talking about the innovation side of our business and how we're successful and thinking about the future and where, some of the things that we feel the market's going to need to be successful. Simon, you talk about the relationships, so important in every business. Listen to our customer, listen to our employees, because, we don't have all the answers. The important part is to collaborate and to listen and hear while we're thinking ahead and anticipating. So I just love that kind of full circle that we're offering. Before we go, I have a separate question for each one of you. Simon, for you, I want to talk briefly about the future, 10, 20, 30 years ahead. You spent a lot of your career before ATS at the aeronautical industry, where automation plays a critical role. Did that experience give you a sense of what the future of automation would look like? And has that changed since you've been at ATS?
It's a great question. It's a difficult question. I think we can learn a lot from aerospace. I mean, it's over 60 years ago, I think, that Rolls-Royce introduced the power by the hour concept, right? And I think we've seen that principle, that business model, play out now in not just aerospace, but many other industries. So certainly when you look at aerospace, we can learn from some of the business models that they've employed, because it's a highly capital intensive industry like ours. I think we can also look at the importance of global infrastructure, being able to serve your customers globally as well as locally. But I think also, innovation plays a critical role. And I think that there again lies, I think, another parallel between aerospace and automation. But I think as we look to the future, I think what we shared today, when we think of the trends, some of the trends are exactly the same with the aerospace space. And I think the power, I think, of our opportunity is how we bring together that perspective, how we make our choices around the future, where we invest, where we focus. But I think some things will be constant. What will be constant is the focus around our customers and our customers' challenges. What will be constant is the role that our employees will play in driving that. What will be constant is the focus of continuing improving process. What will be constant is the focus on innovation, always anticipating what's next, the next problem, the next solution. So we can look at any industry, aerospace and others, and we can learn. Where I think where we make the difference is where we kind of operate as a team, working and collaborating with our customers and with our partners to really set the next standard for automation.
Thank you. Chris, the last question's for you. Your division at ATS Life Sciences work with medical devices and pharmaceuticals. You're also a fitness enthusiast, having finished Ironman 3 times. So when it comes to bioscience and the human body, what is the future of automation? May I say though, Chris, before you start, that you make me feel lazy, that you've done 3 Ironman?
Yeah, it's interesting to see some of the new products that they're designed to manage certain illnesses, and they're being used in athletic analytics. And maybe an example is wearable devices to continuously monitor blood glucose levels. So typically those would be utilized by folks who are treating diabetes, but athletes are using them, and like long distance events like Ironman. As your body depletes glycogen levels, your glucose level will lower. And so understanding what to consume and when to consume it from an energy systems perspective, it's key to optimizing performance. So those devices can be very complicated, and in part it's due to the functionality of the device, but it's also due to the miniaturized nature of the device, because they need to be the least intrusive on the person from a wearability perspective. So those devices, again, evolving at a rapid pace, which requires the automation platforms to be very flexible. And those factors really translate to some pretty sophisticated automation solutions to produce those products in volume, and to do so at the requisite life science quality levels.
So what I'm hearing, Chris, is that your two passions, automation and fitness, are merging beautifully. That's what I'm hearing.
With a side order of construction, yeah.
There you go. There you go. I know both of you are very busy, and I really appreciate both of your time sitting here and having this great conversation about where our industry is going, what's happening, and how we as an organization are going to continue to listen to our customer, listen to our employees, engage with our people to advance our innovation and help our customers succeed in the future, because when they succeed, we succeed with them. Thank you to both of you. Have a good day. And thank you to the audience for
Thanks.
joining us at ATS Virtual Fair.